Spotlight speaker hasn't arrived yet. I'll keep an eye out, see if she does. So welcome everybody. People of Pendle, you're not here for flower arranging or anything, are you? No. So people of Pendle, I'll go straight into the Pendle Health and Wellbeing Partnership update if that's okay. And if Denise arrives, which I think she might do, hopefully she will do, I'll let her in and then she can be next on the agenda. Okay, so unfortunately, Jill can't be with us today, Jill Dixon, who usually does the Health and Wellbeing Partnership update. But Leanne, I'm sure, will stop me if I'm wrong or if I've forgotten anything or whatever. I'm sure Leanne will stop me, won't you? Say yes, Leanne.
I
Just
will, but
yeah,
I'm sure you won't need me to.
thank you. Thank you very much. So, just an update on, sorry, I recently did this. So just an update on the Adult Social Care Transformation Fund that we've been working on. We've had a discussion with all the councils, so Burnley, Pendle and Rosendale, on how they'd like to spend the remainder of the funding. So if you remember, we've employed 3 adult social care, social connectors, and there was some funding left over that they wanted to do something different with. And I mentioned last time about a social connector around hoarding. So it's now been agreed we'll be submitting a proposal to Lancashire County Council for a social connector who'll support people with hoarding issues, increasing their confidence and helping them to engage with specialist services. So they are not hoarding specialists. They will refer and encourage people and increase the confidence in that engagement with those services. There's some wraparound care in some areas, so there'll be other things going on like CBT therapy and all that kind of stuff. We looked into, thank you, Kim and Catherine, for your insights last time. We looked into the Hindburn Way, but it costs a shed load of money to do that. And we just haven't got that funding. So we thought something was better than nothing. So doing this way, we're going to see how it works. If it doesn't work, we'll change it. We'll see what happens. So increasing the confidence, helping them to engage with specialist services. Also funding for a telephone befriending service, which will be delivered by volunteers and include students from Nelson and Colne College, Burnley College and Accrington and Rosendale College. A pilot scheme's been running for the last few weeks and it's proving to be really successful. We've got one volunteer that's ringing a couple of people a couple of times a week from our officers, and both ends are benefiting from this service. So it's been really good so far. As you know, we've employed 3 adult social care social connectors, one for each area. Rebecca Hayworth is allocated to Pendle and has been working in Pendle for a few weeks now. They're working alongside our current social prescribing team and taking referrals directly from Lancashire County Council's adult social care team. So they're working directly with adult social care referrals, as well as others. They're not sitting twiddling their thumbs if they've no referrals from anywhere else. So that is that. People of Pendle Health Gathering. Let me just. Oh, I've not put anything on here. So the health gathering, we're meeting later on this week actually to see what the next steps are. So we had the health gathering in June and it was really well attended and we got lots and lots of feedback, and we mapped out services, and that mapping is being collated by Pendle Leisure Trust, and we are awaiting those results, and we're going to meet later on this week just to find out what the next steps are to look at those results that we got, look at the data that we collected, and see how we move forward from there. So watch this space, folks. Okay, so the next bit is, and I ask you this each time, if there's any themes that are coming through, if people are presenting and, there's something a bit concerning for you, wherever, whether it's your group at a session or whether it's a one-to-one or whatever, and you're finding the same things keep coming up, please do let us know, let me or Jill or Leanne know. And we can feed it into the Health and Wellbeing Partnership Board for Pendle. So is there anything that springs to mind for all of you? There's nobody waving at me. Yeah, Michael?
Hey, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just because this is the first Zoom meeting I've been joining about this, so I kind of missed kind of any previous updates about the partnership. But I'm just wondering about linking up actually like within the This Is Nelson project, we're doing a project called Food Nelson, which is kind of it's centered just in Nelson as a town, but we're also kind of the group we're talking this week about a mapping activity and mapping kind of like spaces where people are producing things or spaces where people can access kind of like different projects. So I would just wonder if there's a chat beyond this where it'd be interesting to talk more about that project with you, you know?
Yeah, by all means, there's two actually. There's two projects going on around mapping, etc. Leanne, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, just Michael, when you talk about food mapping, what exactly is it that you're after?
Well, like there's two things the group are doing. So it's more, so I guess it's kind of like, although it's a it's a UK government PBC project, but it's very much grassroots in terms of like it's like a group of local people who are really interested in kind of local foods and local food production. But we've got different sites, so like the Hodge House site you've been down to, Leanne, that we've been in kind of invested in through This Is Nelson and trying to create things to be grown on those sites, but also they're interested in kind of mapping places that are locally where people can access more locally grown foods and to almost foster a network of like producers, growers, places that people are interested in food growing. And also as a way of, the whole project centered around offering people a space to come and have a conversation as well, and eating together. So there's that well-being aspect to it as well.
Just because, and it might be worth us having a little conversation outside of this, because within my role, I've been working with Peter a little bit on this in trying to map out in Pendle where the sort of food provision is for people who live in Pendle that they can access, primarily for those that are impacted by food insecurity and food poverty.
Yeah.
And within that, I'm developing a bit of a network of providers of those that are offering crisis support, food banks, whether it be funded through the local authority or whether it be funded purely through donations, but also those community cafes that offer that place where people can go and get a paid on meal, or they can just get a brew and children eat for free. And it's just that social connection that's focused around food. And I had a conversation with Kathy at the Good Life project the other day about further down the line and how those provisions could be resourced through local produce rather than putting money into contracts with wider organisations, sort of looking at connecting local people with where those foods have come from locally and getting them involved in the growing of those as well. So it'd be worth having a bit of a conversation around that, probably outside of this group. But I started the network and we had the first meeting 2 weeks ago now, and we had a really good turnout. So I'll fill you in a little bit on what that looks like and whether it's something that I can maybe bridge you in on, or you can tap into.
That'd be lovely, Leanne. Let's do that. And we've got an artist called Dana Olarescu, who's a Romanian artist based in London, but she comes at once a month to Nelson on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And the Thursday we always meet as a group and have some food together. On the Saturday we do a more public sharing of food as well. So like one of those events could be something that we could publicise through what you're doing. Because we did one at Lomisher Park on Saturday. It was a barbecue for anyone to come along and join at,
Oh, brilliant.
We'll do more basically every month from now until the end of March 26. So
yeah, we'll connect after, Michael.
cool.
That sounds really good. So if Michael and Leanne can connect up afterwards. The other project that I was thinking about, Michael, was another one that menopause brain won't let me remember, but they are also mapping, and they're all about volunteers and ambassadors in the community, so like health champions in the community, getting that message across. It started off with cancer champions, so getting people to talk about cancer and bit of myth busting, that kind of thing. But they're also doing a mapping exercise. I have been in contact with them and said that we were doing it as well. So, and they didn't want to duplicate. I didn't want to duplicate work, but they insisted on doing it, so they've done it. So I go along to those meetings as well. So hopefully with the two, we'll get somewhere and to know where things are and where there's gaps across Pendle. Where things, where things need to be improved. It helps us as well as a CVS that administers funding streams. We can target those areas as well where there's gaps. So yeah. So thank you for that. So people of Pendle connecting up again. Leanne.
Apologies. Just on the back of that, Tracy, with this mapping that I've been doing, and I'm reaching out to everybody on here really to find out. I've really found that there's a gap in food provision in Briarfield. I found one Methodist church that are receiving, they do a food bank one morning a week, and I went out and did a visit there the other day, and I spent the full morning there at the food bank, and I was inundated with individuals and families coming to me wanting, they're sleeping on mattresses, they've got no fridge at home, and the food that they were accessing was very limited and very poorly resourced really, because it relies on donations. But it's the one area that I've found that there's a gap in, and I'm struggling to bridge that. If anybody can provide me with any information that they might know about any resources in Briarfield for food provision, that'd be really helpful.
Leanne, there's the crisis fund that's opened that has, I can't just remember the organisations that can refer into it, but I know our social connectors.
Is that the Under One Roof?
No,
Oh,
this is from Pendle Council, and it's the Household Support Fund 7, I think it is, but they're providing a crisis fund. So I think you can apply for up to £500 for a person. So when you talked about mattresses, etc., that's the kind of thing that they can help with.
so yeah, that the person that in question had a support worker through an organisation. I did provide her with some information to take to a support worker and some links, and I said, if your support worker struggles, then ask her to contact me, because I might be able to find out some more information. So thanks for that.
Yeah, okay. That was for everybody as well. The Pendle Crisis Fund is part of the Household Support Fund, and there are only certain organisations that can refer into it, because we didn't want inundating with a load of referrals that we had the capacity to work through. So when it comes through to us, it will be allocated to a social connector or a social prescribing link worker who will do that background information, find out what's needed, what's actually needed for this person, and see if we can get some free resources as well as the monetary resources that we can put into that. So that stands for everybody. I'll send information round on that if you like, and then you can refer in. So thank you, Leanne. Thank you, Michael. Is there any themes that are coming through? Now you've had a bit of a chance to think. No? Okay. All right. I've made a note of that. So, so Denise still hasn't arrived. So I'm assuming she's not coming. So just an update from us as CVS, and then I'll shut up. I promise I'll shut up. I'll give everybody else a chance to talk. So our continuing membership of Lancashire Association of CVSs, LACVS, continues, and the new Volunteering for Health project linked to our Volunteering for Health and Community Hub is now up and running. Lisa Ross is leading on the project. Please do get in touch if you'd like to know more about it. All of this information will be put on the People of Pendle page and sent out to all members as well. We're working across Lancashire on developing a process and foundation for NHS volunteers, as well as a quality standard using our well-established and accredited processes. And Christine Blythe, our Chief Executive Officer and Treasurer of LACVS, is working with the National Lottery on a bid for the whole of Lancashire. This will involve people in the local area making decisions on funding allocations from the National Lottery. So watch this space. Funding streams, our funding streams. We've recently reviewed our processes for allocating funding. A brand new panel would consider applications for RCB small group social prescribing funding this year. Briefings have taken place with all panel members, which were well received. As part of this, we're also asking for groups to help us review all of our processes starting with funding. Heather Stark is invited expressions of interest if you wanted to be involved, and we had a great response, though more is always welcome. If you're interested, please contact Heather. We've already reviewed the application process and implemented most of the changes suggested. Some couldn't be changed due to funders' requirements, funding or time, but we're certainly going to keep them on file and look into those as time goes on. The next process that will be looked at by that working group will be the reporting process, which everybody goes, oh my God, I don't like doing that, or monitoring evaluation. And if you'd like to get involved in that, please do contact Heather. Social prescribing and Eric Wright small groups funding update. Only 3 Pendle groups were successful with Eric Wright funding in 2024. We didn't get that many applications, to be honest. So that's open again. So please encourage your groups to apply for that. 15 Pendle groups were successful in RCB funding applications in 24-25. That's quite a lot, but that was because we made a massive concerted effort to kind of bully people into applying for the funding. Because Pendle groups seem reluctant to apply for funding, we don't know why. We're still making that concerted effort. I'm still in there, talking about funding, etc. The small group social prescribing fund is now open. Please do look at our website for the guidance application and for more details. If anybody needs any support to apply for funding, that or any other funding, doesn't have to be administered by us, please do give us a shout. Community cohesion and resilience funding, 10 groups were successful in their applications for this funding. And then we were involved in organising the health gathering, which was held in June, starring me, by the way, who had everybody singing the hokey cokey and dancing. Didn't we, Kim? And the coalition that worked on that is called Pendle Network for Change. And like I said, they were meeting this week to consider the findings of that event and the next steps. So watch this space. 90th anniversary, you know all about. If you've submitted your acts of kindness, thank you very much. If you haven't, please do think about it. And if you've got any testimonies, we had a wonderful testimonial this week from New Era, which was lovely. Just saying how long they'd worked with us. I mean, they've been involved with CVS for, I don't know, donkey's years. And they were housed with us for about 4 or 5 years, and they loved it. It was their home. They've just expanded so much now they needed their own space. So we had a lovely testimonial. So if anybody that would like to do a testimonial, please do give us a shout. Tell us how great we are. Whether you work with us now or whether it was 20 years ago or whatever, it doesn't matter, anytime within the last 90 years. Ongoing training and workshops for groups. I'm still delivering the monitoring and evaluation workshops. I think I'll be doing these for the rest of my life because they seem to be quite popular. So I'm still doing them once a month. Whether you've had funding from us or not, you are more than welcome to book yourself on. Please contact Heather for more details and to get booked on. And we are developing another workshop which will include social media safety, myth busting, that kind of thing, and around data protection. So keep an eye on our newsletter for details once we do that. So thank you very much. I shall shut up now, and I'm just going to go around my screen, and you can talk about whatever you want. So Michael, you're first on my screen. I do apologise. Somebody has to be first.
It's all right. I quite like going first, then I can sit back. Yeah, lots going on. I guess a couple of things to let people know. I've very much got like a Nelson focus to the work I'm doing at the moment because I'm helping to put together the This Is Nelson project. But we recently got funded from National Lottery Heritage Fund for a new project that will be starting from September, October this year. That's going to be focusing on creating an archive of audio and images around people's memories of nighttime experiences in Nelson, thinking about the kind of rich musical and kind of cinematic history, but also kind of a lot focusing on some of the kind of the nighttime spaces such as Blueberry's nightclub or the Star Pub that don't exist anymore as well. So that's going to be running from September. It'll be a year-long project to collect those stories and exhibit them at Nelson Library. And we'll have a second year of engagement with the This Is Nelson Young People group, who will then create their own kind of creative weekender in response to what's created. So that, and then in a more immediate thing, we're planning to do a People's Assembly event in October. And our People's Assembly events are kind of celebratory events that we do in the town. Everyone's welcome. We normally put on a creative activity, some music, but it's a chance to kind of network and have food together. So if there's anyone who would like to get involved in those events, to come and have a stall to talk to people or to kind of in another way, it'd be good to get in touch beyond this. Because there's something we kind of do quarterly, and they're a really nice chance to kind of connect in an informal way.
Thanks, Michael. Thank you very much. Anybody that'd like to get in touch with Michael, as with us all, our contact details are on the membership list that we send around each month. So thank you, Michael. Jez, you're next on the list. If you've got nothing to say, by the way, sorry, this is not just for you, Jez. If you've got nothing to say, by the way, no embarrassment, just say, I haven't got anything this month, sorry, and leave it at that. Okay, Jez, away you go.
I'm pleased that both Michael and Peter both on the call, because I've had some great meetings with the two of them over recent weeks and months, which has been good to kind of connect with both of them and do some bits with them. I can just update. I've just nearly finished a social return on investment for building bridges in Pendle, which basically, for those of you who don't know, it's about looking at the outcomes that an organisation achieves and then attempting to attach a financial value to those. So that helps with sustainable funding in terms of, if you can say that for every pound in investment that you receive in grant funding, for example, that you achieve outcomes that are worth, £1.50 or £2 or whatever, or £3 or whatever it might be. It's just a way of you being able to stand out a little bit when you're making applications for future funding. So hopefully once that's actually finished off, I'm hoping that Ralph might give permission for that to be public as much as anything, because it's got not just the details for building bridges in terms of the value they achieve, but because it will have some details around the methodology and that and how to go about doing one. So if you want to do one for your own organisations, it will give you some ideas about how you might undertake a social return on investment for yourselves. And again, I'm happy if people want to have a chat about that at some point, happy to have a conversation about that. That's me done.
Thanks, Jez. It might be useful for members to have you as a guest speaker for 10-15 minutes, just to run through social capital investments and all that kind of stuff, that people might just, because it is really useful to put down, because funders always like to know how much they're saving, how much they're saving at the cost savings and things. So thank you for that, Jez.
I'm happy to do that at some stage. It's fine.
Fab, thank you. Leanne, have you got anything that you'd like to update on?
Just the network that the food network meeting that I had a couple of weeks ago. So I've got majority of the main core deliverers, like community provision of food together. That was really useful. We're going to be publishing a little bit of a what's on in Pendle guide, working with the comms department at Pendle Borough Council to provide a bit of a guide to be able to hand out to members of the community, to say, if they're going to a community centre and there's not anything there on that day, it shows what's available in other areas of Pendle, whether it be a cafe or a food bank or access to a free brew and a grocery or something like that. Also, just a reminder for those organisations that haven't joined the new Pendle community WhatsApp group. So it's been transferred over to a community, but we've lost about 2/3, maybe over that, of our members. So the activity level's not very active at the moment, and it was being really utilised before. So I sent out an individual message to those members this morning that have read all the agreements but haven't accepted the new invites. So I've sent out the new invites, and anybody that wants to be a part of the community WhatsApp group, it's about connecting and sharing services that are happening in Pendle, specifically around healthy outcomes, whether it be events that are happening, fundraisers that are going on, or applications that you want to advertise for funding, things like that, please drop me an email or contact me on my personal number, on my mobile number, and I will get you added to the group.
I think it is like people at Pendle on WhatsApp, isn't it, Leanne?
Sorry, I muted myself. Yeah, it is. And sometimes they can be relentless when people get really excited, but it is really useful because sometimes we do miss emails and they come through at a time where we see them and we can just get that spotlight on events. So bit of a quicker way of accessing what's going on.
Fab. Thanks,
But
Leanne.
I know if you're part of a lot of WhatsApp groups, it can be a little bit frustrating.
Yeah, because it does ping every 5 minutes, if not more sometimes. Thanks, Leanne. Thank you for that. Catherine?
Haven't got anything.
Okay, thank you. Kim?
Nothing.
Okay, thank you. Pam?
Nothing either, Tracy, this time.
Okay, no worries. Sarah? Is she there?
Sorry, I was trying to unmute. Yeah, no, I'm with Catherine and Kim. I haven't got anything either.
All right, thank you. Umal?
Hiya, I haven't got anything either.
Okay, thank you. Natasha? Natasha, if you're speaking, we can't hear you. You're muted. Or mic's not working. Oh, well, okay. Have you got anything that you want to add? If you just want to put it in the chat, nothing to report. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, you're very quiet. Is it school holidays that's doing this? Everything's very quiet. I just wanted to mention Bradley Big Local. I've been working, I don't know whether you know or not, I've been working with Bradley Big Local doing some community development work, going back to my roots. Please don't tell me boss that I love doing stuff like this because she won't let me do it if she knows. But we are in the process of organising 2 events, and the first event was last Thursday, held at Hodge House Community Centre and the adjoining field. We had gazebos courtesy of Burnley Markets, which was wonderful. There were brightly coloured gazebos. There was lots going on, music. We had a solo singer, we had a DJ, we had a bouncy castle for the kids. There was lots of information stalls. There's lots of local businesses there that were selling bits of stuff, handmade things, and cakes. There were loads of cakes. And we had free food, so courtesy of Female Friendship Forum and Diane's Catering. We had a mixture of samosas, there was some dip, there was some savoury rice, that kind of thing, and some sandwiches and sausage rolls, that kind of thing. So, and a good time was had by all. I needed to lie down in a darkened room afterwards. However, there were some lessons learned, which I'll share with you as we've got a bit of time. If you're ever putting an event on that involves council land, please do apply for an event permission, because if you don't, they will stop the event. I found this out really late on last week and madly filled it in, and Julie from Pendle Council was absolutely wonderful. She helped me through it, she talked me through it. It was quite a lot of paperwork. If you're having a bouncy castle at any event, the provider has to, you can't just have any bouncy castle, the provider has to have a risk assessment, they have to have indemnity insurance for up to £10 million. They have to, they also have to have a safety certificate for their bouncy castle. And I know that sounds like really innocuous stuff, but when you're putting on an event and it's the day before and you just you find out all of this stuff, it's like, oh my God, my head exploded. So I stayed late Wednesday, filled all that in, and luckily Pendle Council were really accommodating and they sorted us right out. So thank you. Please pass on my thanks, Leanne, to Julie Mousdale. She was just brilliant. But yeah, there was I would say about 200 people came along. There was 30 stalls, and like I say, a mixture of information stalls. The Together Housing people loved it, absolutely loved it. They're coming back again in September if they can. There's others that are coming back in September. The Harry Bus will be there in September. So we've got another event on the 20th of September. That's a Saturday this time. So the PCM was there, Pendle West PCM was there, our social prescribers were there. Umal were there. You had a good time, didn't you, Umal?
I had a really good time.
Yeah, there was. So it weren't just me, Umal.
No, it was fab, honestly. I
It
got my
were.
hand glittered on. It was great.
I did. I've still got my. I don't know whether you can see it or not. I've still got my
Oh, wow,
sparkly
yeah.
spider. My sparkly spider's still on there. They last for about 2 weeks unless you take them off with oil. Apparently, you can have. I have had a bath. I've had a bath. I promise. But they don't come off with soap and water. You can scrub them and they don't come off. So they come off with oil. So yeah, so our Christina from CVS, she was doing some glitter tattoos and she did 323 glitter tattoos that day. Her shoulders were killing her. But the kids absolutely, well, I'm saying kids, me and the kids absolutely loved it. It was a great day. Families came together, families were playing together. There were lots of activities on. Pendle Leisure Trust did some activities. And there were plenty of other things, but people like blind veterans were there that you don't see often, but they were giving out information and they had a bit of an activity for the children, and it were really good, really nice atmosphere. Nobody fell out as far as I know, and everybody was still alive afterwards, which I call that a success. So thank you to everybody that were involved in that. If you came along or if you advertised it or whatever, please do advertise our 20th September one as well. So thank you for that. I think we're going to finish early again if nobody's anything else that they'd like to say or do. No? Okay, no, but no. Okay, you're all shaking heads. Yes, Catherine, Kim, I will stay on afterwards. So thank you, everybody. You've now got about half an hour, 25 minutes. Everybody thinks that you're in this meeting, so you can do whatever you want. If you want to sit in a corner eating chocolate, or you want to go and have a wander around the block, or just scarve off for a few minutes, I won't tell anybody that you're not in this meeting. So please do have a lovely afternoon. Thank you all for being so engaging, and I'll see you next month. Take care.
Thank you, Tracy. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.